Beauty pageant contestants, what happened to you? My mother started me in pageants to make money when I was a kid, and when I started getting too old for them, she took horrific, drastic measures to convince people I was still a kid so we could keep winning. Mom discovered pageants after I was born, when she decided to abandon her credit card scams and petty theft and focus on my baby doll face, which she was convinced was our ticket to financial security. She spent our grocery money on glittery dresses and hired coaches who taught me to pose and blow kisses at judges. When I won my first crown, Mom whispered, "We're going to win every single one from now on." That was just the beginning of Mom's obsession with keeping me competitive in the under 10 division. She made me drink special protein shakes that tasted like chalk, claiming they would keep my metabolism perfectly calibrated. She made me sleep in uncomfortable positions that she claimed would maintain my compact proportions. But everything changed when I was 12. After I won another crown, a judge pulled Mom aside and said, "She's too old for this division. It's time for her to move up to teens." Mom didn't like that one bit. In the kids division, we were winners. She wasn't about to start over. So that night, she sat me down and explained that we had a problem that required creative solutions. She said, "Other girls get to grow up, but champions stay young forever, and that's exactly what we're going to do." She found a clinic that specialized in precocious puberty and convinced them with some fake documents that I was actually 7 years old and shouldn't be growing this much yet. "I'm terrified that my baby girl is going to get sexually harassed by boys who think she's a teenager," she said, weeping in the office. She gave me injections in my hip that were supposed to stop my bones from lengthening and made me feel like I was burning alive. By the time I turned 14, the medical treatments weren't enough to hide my aging, so Mom escalated to physical modifications that made me feel like a prisoner in my own body. She started binding my chest so tightly I could barely breathe and had my teeth surgically altered to look more like baby teeth. The worst part was when other pageant girls would stare at me during competitions, and I could see the suspicion growing in their eyes. I started having panic attacks before every pageant because I knew we were getting closer to being caught, but Mom would just give me pills to calm down and remind me that prison was worse than pageants. We just moved to Nevada for just another fresh start when everything changed for me. During one of the pageant rehearsals, I met the son of the venue owner. He was 16 and gorgeous, and all I wanted was for him to notice me. I watched him from across the room, desperate to act like the teenager I actually was, but Mom grabbed my arm and hissed, "Little girls don't flirt with teenage boys." I completely snapped and screamed at her in front of everyone, "I'm not a little girl. I'm 15 years old and I'm tired of pretending to be a baby." Mom dragged me out of the venue and we left town that night. When we got to a cheap motel in Utah, she left to go research surgeries that would permanently stunt my growth, and I found a payphone and called CPS. Within days, a social worker showed up at the motel, and freedom was so close that I could taste it. But Mom wasn't going to give up her meal ticket without a fight. She hired an expensive lawyer with my prize money and convinced him that I was having a mental breakdown caused by the stress of competition. Mom got 3 different doctors to sign statements claiming I was delusional and suffering from false memories due to pageant pressure syndrome. She had pageant officials testify that I had always seemed happy and well-adjusted during competitions. The social worker started doubting my story when faced with all this evidence, and Mom regained custody while I watched my chance at freedom slip away. But then at my comeback pageant, something amazing happened. One of the judges was the one from 3 years ago who'd told Mom I was getting too old, and she recognized me immediately. She knew there was no way I was still eligible, and for my childlike appearance, she knew there was way more than just forged documents going on. She contacted the police, and Mom's story collapsed. The investigation revealed that Mom had been abusing me for over a decade and committing fraud across multiple states. Medical experts testified that the hormone treatments and surgeries had permanently damaged my development and that I would need years of therapy to recover from the psychological trauma. Mom was arrested for child abuse, medical fraud, and identity theft, while I was finally allowed to live as my actual age for the first time in years. I'm now 19 years old and trying to figure out who I am without pageants, but my body is permanently affected by Mom's desperate attempts to keep me young forever. The hormone treatments left me with health problems that doctors are still trying to understand, and I struggle with basic social interactions because I spent so many years pretending to be a child. I'm learning to live in the real world where people actually age and grow up, but I know it will take years to undo the damage Mom caused.